Sometimes being delusional is a good thing. You think some of the most respected, most successful people in the world got there by not believing in the crazy ass things they've accomplished in the beginning? People like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, when they set off on their journeys to complete some of the greatest tests in the world, like Bill Gates to create the most successful computer software brand in the world, to Elon Musk to creating the #1 selling electric car in the world, and Jeff Bezos to creating the #1 e-commerce platform in the world. You think people didn't think they were crazy at first to think that they could take over a market that no one thought could be possible? No. A little bit of them had to be fucking delusional. There's actual interviews with Elon Musk, if you watch, about him being so delusioned of the idea of electric cars. He implemented so much of it into his life and people thought he was crazy. There's videos of him talking about him going on dates when he was younger and all you could talk about was electric cars, and the girls thought he was fucking weirdos because he was just fixated and fascinated with it. He got to where he was and they all got to where they were by having a self-belief, the self-image in themselves, that the idea that they had was better than anyone else's, and it propelled them to the top, because when they talked about it, they believed in it. And when they were talking to the investors to actually help them invest in their business, they talked in a way where they conveyed confidence. They were so confident that the people that they talked to were confident in their idea, and they got them to where they were. You need to be somewhat delusional in your own ideas and beliefs, but also self-assess at the same time to be anything great in this world. Self-image is everything. I could think of a few times in my life where self-image has propelled me to do great things. For instance, when I was younger, in my younger years, when I was a teenager, probably about middle school until about late teens, till about sophomore year of high school, I was really fat. I was probably about 250 to 260 pounds at my most, and for those of you who don't know, a 6-foot male at 260 pounds is heavy. I had fucking titties. And for the longest time, I accepted that as my fate, just to be the fat guy. And my self-image was believing that I was going to be the fat guy for the rest of my life, and I believed it was impossible to lose the weight until I started surrounding myself with people who did lose weight, and I figured out it was possible. And my self-image of being the fat guy changed because I started to believe that there was a way to lose the weight. I started to believe that there was a way you can go from the fat guy to the muscle guy, and that's exactly what I did. The thing that helped me lose the weight was believing that I could. I know that some kid losing 100 pounds in no way equates to Elon Musk believing in himself that he could be the #1 electric car manufacturer in the world, but what I'm getting at here is the principle of self-belief. The brain is interesting. If you know what a placebo effect is, it is the idea in your mind that in a medical experiment principle way, placebo is a drug given to you that has no medical impact in you. A placebo is just a water or a sugar pill, a pill that has no drugs in it. It's basically a blank pill that you're taking. But the brain, the mind, is so powerful that when it believes it is taking in a certain substance, it actually causes the body to act in a certain way of which it believes what the pill will do to you. There have been reported cases of a placebo being given to people, and the people being told that the pill is going to make them go into cardiac arrest, and the brain, even though it was a placebo, the brain believed that the pill was going to make itself or make the body go into cardiac arrest. The brain made the body go into cardiac arrest just because it believed that the pill that it was given would make them do that. But in reality, it was a placebo pill. It was nothing. It was an empty capsule. That's how powerful the power of belief in the brain is. If the brain believes something is possible, if the brain believes that something is going to happen, the brain will make it fucking happen. And you can translate this to other areas of your life of belief, to whatever it is you want to do in this world. Confidence, for example. If you believe you are confident, you will become confident. I can think of times in the past where I was not confident, where I was not good at socializing with people, where I was not good at socializing with girls, where I never thought I could get a girlfriend. I believed that I couldn't, so it stopped me from actually obtaining those skills and getting a girlfriend for such a long time, because I didn't believe I could. I didn't believe I was ready for that. But I remember at a certain point, flip switched in my head for this. Once I started to believe that I was better looking, once I started to believe that I was confident, once I started to believe that I can get good at talking to girls, once I started to believe that I could get good at making friends, once I started to believe I could be confident, those things started to happen. It translated to those overall conversations, because going into conversation and going into places where I needed to have confidence, I believed I did, and therefore I had. The power of belief is extremely important in your life, because to get anywhere you need to believe you are confident. How are you supposed to convince anyone else in your ideas and opinions if you don't believe and aren't confident in them? People are better at reading it than you think. Even if you believe you are not reading, subconsciously your brain can tell when an idea or a belief is off. And if you are going to convey anything to anyone, whether it be if you're trying to get a job, if you're trying to sell an idea to someone, if you're trying to sell yourself to a woman, you need to believe that you are that guy that she wants. You need to believe that you are that guy that that employer needs to hire. You need to believe that the idea you are offering to someone is a good idea, or they're not going to believe it. You need to believe it yourself, or they're not going to accept the idea that you are confident in yourself. People are going to believe you if they can tell that you are confident in what it is that you are talking about. And not only in realms of getting jobs and selling ideas and selling yourself to a woman, this actually translates to your overall mood and vision for life and how you feel at any given time as well. If you believe you're a shit person, if you believe you're sad, you're gonna end up feeling that way. I feel like a lot of people, they believe, I don't mean to go all Andrew Tate on you, but some of it makes sense. Don't just click off the video because I mentioned Andrew Tate. I do agree that a lot of stuff he says is bullshit, and a lot of it is damaging to a lot of young minds if they don't understand the actual thought process behind it, if they don't listen to the good and filter out the bad. He talks about knowing depression is a thing, but himself not believing that depression is real. He knows depression is a thing, okay? But what he's trying to convey or tell his audience and tell himself is, you cannot believe in a depression. If you do not believe in the depression that is there, your mind is convinced that it can get out of it, versus someone who believes that depression is real. When they get into a funk of sadness, if they believe that depression is real, it is going to stay around and linger longer out of the idea or thought that the depression is something coming from some sort of genetic value in the brain, instead of associating that sadness or depression with something that's happening in their life. You're gonna get yourself into a deeper funk by believing that it's something you cannot control versus thinking it's something that you can control. If you believe that it is something you control, you can take the necessary actions to get out of whatever it is that is making you feel this way, versus thinking it's just some weird chemical imbalance in your brain that you cannot do anything about. If you believe that it's something you cannot do anything about, you're not going to take the necessary steps to actually get out of whatever mood you're in. And the same goes for happiness. I guess that one works both ways. If you believe you're a happy person, if you believe it's a chemical balance instead of imbalance in your brain, that you are always happy, yeah, I guess keep moving forward like that. But eventually it's going to kick you in your ass if you believe that you're always happy, and possibly when you get to a point where you aren't happy, you'll think that that balance in your brain is messed up because you aren't happy in the moment. If you believe you can get to a point where you are happy out of your own doings, you can always get back to a status quo of happiness. Self-image is responsible for most of your feelings in this world. If you believe you are truly something, you will become to be that something. And if you believe that you will never be that something, you will never become that something. Self-image equates to how you see yourself, and how you see yourself equates to how others are going to see you. Focus on your self-image, believe that you can, and you will.